After working with thousands of adult piano players over the last 20 years, I can tell you with absolute certainty that I have never encountered a piano player who didn't have at least one technical blind spot that was quietly slowing down their progress. And here's why this matters. Technique isn't something that you can get simply by practicing scales or drilling technical exercises. Technique is all about how you utilize your body to get the sound that you want out of the piano. If you're doing it right, you'll be able to play staccato or forte and your playing will sound graceful and musical. But if you aren't doing it right, your playing will sound robotic at best, and things like dynamics and phrasing will always be a struggle. Today, we're gonna change that. In today's video, I'm giving you a warm-up that is perfect for any level of piano player, regardless of what type of music you play. It's built in 2 parts, and it's very important that you don't skip either part, even if you don't think you need it. Hey piano people, I'm Ashlee. Welcome to Ashlee Young Music Studio, where you learn how to practice smarter, not harder. Let's dive in. Part 1 is a quick checklist that has to do with your piano posture. Don't skip this part, even if you are advanced. Almost every single piano player that I encounter has some issue with their piano posture, and it throws everything off, and it's such an easy fix. I'm gonna keep the camera angle like this on the side so that you can really see what I'm doing and apply it when you are at your piano. And as I get situated here, a quick little pro tip is to actually put a mirror by your piano or go ahead and record yourself from this exact same angle so that once you watch this video, you can go follow this checklist and make sure that you have all of these components done correctly at your piano. It's one thing to try to feel it and imagine how it looks, but it's a totally other situation when you can actually see what you look like, and it's very illuminating. So the first thing that most piano players get wrong is that you want to make sure that your forearms are parallel to the ground. You don't want to be like this, because that means if they're slanted down that you are too high. If you are too low, your arms will be making a V. We want this nice uppercase L shape. Your forearms are parallel to the ground. You want to make sure that your biceps are parallel to your torso. Again, if we are too far back, your biceps are going to be in front of your torso. And if you are sitting too close to the piano, your biceps will be behind your torso. You wanna make sure you're sitting up nice and tall and relaxed. And if anything, you wanna be leaning slightly forward. Ideally, we're straight up and down in a neutral position, but I see from most piano players a little bit of slumping back. We don't want to be slumped back like this, sitting up nice and tall, and if anything, you're leaning over the keys, getting ready to play. Now, those are just a few of the proper posture technique foundations that make your playing sound effortless. If you don't have those in place, literally anything that you try to do at the piano will be more of a struggle because your body isn't set up properly to accomplish those things. I actually have a new resource called the Essential Piano Posture Checklist. It's not necessary. You can always come back and review this video each time you practice, but it does make it really easy to have a little reference point right before you practice every single time. And until you are 100% positive that you have this piano posture mastered and that all of your little sneaky bad habits are gone, I would follow this checklist every single time you practice. I'll link it in the description in case you want it, but let's go on to step 2. But first, if you realize that in there you're doing something wrong and you've already gained a little nugget of wisdom from this video, hit the thumbs up, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so that you get to watch every single video that I released, hit the bell so you're notified when they come out, and copy this link and share it with a friend. I'm gonna be honest with you, if there was one thing that I wish every single piano player could correct quickly and instantly that would give them the biggest return as far as effort versus outcome goes, it would be piano posture. It's such an easy fix once you're aware of it, and if you can mindfully check in every time you practice, and the return on that effort is so big compared to the amount of time it takes you to check in or make sure that you are sitting properly. So copy the link, share it with another adult piano player or with a group of adult piano players so that they can also approach with proper technique. If I could log into the Facebook group and see that every person that ever posted a video had proper posture, my work would be done. And I promise we're getting to step 2, but I have 2 really important announcements. First, if you haven't already reserved your free seat for Piano Practice Lab, do that now. We are kicking off in just 10 days, and this is 4 free days of piano classes in Zoom with me, where you will learn to design a weekly practice routine that accelerates your trajectory to confident musical expression. It's an event like no other, and it is jam-packed with helpful information just for you. The link will be in the description. Make sure you reserve your free seat. Even if you can't make the live times, you will get replays emailed to you with your registration, so there's no harm in registering. Second announcement, and then I promise we're getting to step 2. On June 11th, Casual to Confident Piano Player opens for enrollment. And this is very exciting for a couple of reasons. One, this program only opens a couple of times a year. But two, this is actually going to be the very last time that I ever offer a year of access to the live classes with me. That component of the program will be changing after this year. So if you've been around for a while and you know about this program and you've been wanting to join, this is literally your last chance to join it in its current format. If you're just hearing about it, you're definitely gonna wanna check it out. Casual to Confident is where members transform the way they practice and transform the way they sound. It is a highly effective, proven program to help you master any piece with confidence at the piano.
I'm finally learning how to play the piano versus just hitting notes.
I can actually get through a piece.
Triplets. I've never played triplets in my life. 3 months, I could do something I had accepted I would never do.
I remember when I was thinking about joining and I'm like, well, I've been playing the piano for a long time. Is this the place for me? And she's like, yeah, it is. She's right. Like, it's the same for no matter what level you're at.
I will link that in the description as well so that you can get on the wait list and learn more about that program so that you can be ready when enrollment opens on June 11th. There's also going to be a special little bonus for the first 10 people that join. So when enrollment opens, you're definitely going to want to be one of the first 10 so you get that extra bonus as well. All right, back to step 2. Now that your body is better aligned, we want to unlock your wrists. Because if your wrists are stiff, your playing will sound stiff. And literally 95% of piano players that I encounter have stiff wrists and it's holding them back. I wasn't even planning on demonstrating this, but I want to show you what the difference between stiff wrists and loose wrists sounds and looks like. So if my wrists are stiff and I'm trying to get like a beautiful sound at the piano, it's going to be really difficult because it's just going to sound robotic. So listen to this with stiff wrist. So it's pretty, I have dynamics, the piece is nice, but did you hear how every single note was accented and how the music didn't really flow? And you could probably see that my wrists weren't really moving. I was pretty stiff like this. And this is most of what I encounter with adult piano players. And we want to get more of this motion so that you can move around the keyboard with grace and ease and so that your playing sounds graceful and musical. So this is what that same piece sounds like, but now with that added wrist motion. So much better, right? And the reason that I'm showing you this from the side angle is because it actually doesn't matter what notes you play to do this part of the warm-up. You can literally do any notes. I like to do just like a C and a G together, but honestly, you could play nonsense notes. You could just drop your hand on the piano and it doesn't matter what notes you play. The important thing with this step of the warm-up is that you are getting in touch with the way that it feels to help your wrist be loose. So what you're going to do is sit with your proper piano posture that you learned about in step 1, and then you are going to take a big, deep breath, okay? And on the deep breath, you're going to use your wrists to raise your hands. It's almost like if you had like a string tied to your wrist or a rubber band there, you were pulling that string or rubber band, and notice how my wrist follows, right? So the motion is my wrist is leading my hand up. And I can do it with both hands or I can do it with one hand at a time. So we're gonna take a big deep breath. And on the exhale, I'm gonna drop into the keys and I'm not going to control it. And you can see I wasn't even looking at the piano. It doesn't matter what notes I play. The most important thing here is that 1, my wrist, when I land on the keys, drops down, right? Notice that my wrist is going below the level of the keys. In fact, on my piano, my wrist is actually touching this wood part of the piano, okay? And the other thing is that when you drop, you're not going to hesitate, you're not going to pause, you are going to let yourself completely drop. Okay, so I want to show you what this looks like when you actually do it as a warm-up, coordinated with your breathing. So we're inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. And you can see like I'm literally playing nonsense. It doesn't matter. It doesn't sound good. The point is actually not at this step to make it sound good. The point is to allow your wrists to be loose and your arms to drop into the keys. It's a very simple warm-up. You can do it for even just 30 seconds before you start to play, but it will make a huge difference because your body will start to remember what it feels like when your wrists do this up-down motion. Your body will start to remember what it's like to coordinate your breathing with your movements at the piano. And before you know it, after a couple of weeks of doing this exercise, you're gonna notice that when you get to the end of a phrase in music, all of a sudden your wrist is going to gracefully lift up, right? Or when you have to jump down to reach a low note, you're gonna notice that instead of sliding across the keys, all of a sudden your left hand gracefully, led by the wrist, lifts up and goes down to reach that left hand note. Loose and flexible wrists are one of the foundations of proper technique, and all of the other technical movements stem from having a loose wrist and loose arms. So this is why I included it in the warm-up, because it's so essential. Before we wrap up, I wanna say one little thing about this. So oftentimes people will say, well, I was taught that you're supposed to have your wrists in a neutral position and that they're supposed to stay there, right? You're not supposed to have your wrists high, you're not supposed to have your wrists low. And this is true to a point. When you are in the beginner stages, you want to get really used to having your wrists in this neutral position. And we always return to this neutral position. But once you start playing more like late elementary, early intermediate, and beyond levels of piano music, you're going to need more than that, right? You need to be able to move around the keys, you need to lift with the wrist, and we always return to the neutral position. So I'm not asking you to play like this with tension or to play like this with tension. What I'm asking you is to always return to neutral, but to allow your wrist to guide you around the keys. Now, this simple warm-up is so effective because one, it takes barely any time. You can do this in 1 minute or less every single practice session, and the results are huge. But if I'm being totally honest with you, this little warm-up is just barely scratching the surface of proper technique. And if you get my emails, you've already heard about this insanely exciting announcement. But if not, I wanna share it with you here on the channel too. I recently created something just for you called 10 Technique Breakthroughs for $10. This is a bundle of class replays that I have edited from Casual to Confident Piano Player that shows you the 10 most common technique mistakes or issues that real adult piano players have come to me with questions about, and I give them solutions. In these 10 videos, you learn exactly how to practice these technical elements to take your playing to the next level. We cover things like Alberti bass or arpeggios in the left hand or big chord jumps. And you get it all for only $10. And the other cool thing is that if you purchase it for $10, you'll also get an exclusive chance to add on that proper piano checklist that I talked about in step 1 for only $9, and it's usually $27. So I'm gonna link that in the description below so that you can grab 10 technique breakthroughs for $10 and that super helpful posture checklist for a fraction of the price. It'll all be linked in the description below. Don't forget to reserve your free seat for Piano Practice Lab. You can do that right here on the end screen. And if you wanna go deeper into either of these technique concepts that we did in the warm-up, I'm gonna link to one other video where I take you even deeper into that piano posture and hand positioning on the keyboard so that you really get the whole picture of proper piano technique. You can grab the video and the link to join Piano Practice Lab on the end screen and the link for the 10 technique breakthroughs right in the description. Don't forget to check out Casual to Confident Piano Player as well, opening for the last time in just a couple weeks. Happy practicing.